This radio is powered by Streamline, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamline.com for more. Like confetti in a windstorm.
Welcome to Story to Screen here on KPEO World Community Radio, where we're rocking the film world each week on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go online, download the app, and listen in weekly with new guests and music, or catch the replay on wearestarfish.org. This is Story to Screen, and I'm your host, Eric Krefeld. Let's dive in. On the boulevard. Hey everybody, this is Eric here from Story to Screen, and we've got a great show again for you this week. I've got Mark Lanoue. Is that how I say it, Mark?
Got it.
Awesome, because I have a habit of just slaughtering everybody's name, so this is a first. I got one right, folks. Mark Lanoue.
Mine usually gets butchered.
And people are so gracious. They always tell me that when I do it, so I appreciate that. But yes, so we've got Mark here with Kick the Wicked. Awesome name. I love that too. So we definitely need to find out some more information about where that came from. But Mark, tell us a little bit about you and Kick the Wicked.
Well, that's as usual. That's a pretty long story, but I'll try to make it short and sweet. So I'm a typical Gemini. I'm a hybrid between technology and music. I'm an inductee of the NASA Space Technology Hall of Fame, but I'm also a voting member for the Grammys and a musician, vocalist, and songwriter and guitar player. The funny thing is, as you're talking about progression through music, I was originally a guitar player. I didn't even know I could sing. It wasn't until later that a vocal coach pulled me aside from a show that I was doing and said, "Hey, did you know you can sing, and you could probably sing better than the guy who's singing for you?" So, wow. And that's how it all came about. So, Kick the Wicked, as you mentioned, is my most recent band, and we've just went through a Grammy run, and we have a song that is now up for Best Rock Song through the World Entertainment Awards. We should know something about that on February. I believe it's the 5th. So, yeah, it's really exciting. I'm really. We have a couple really excellent musicians. Scott Campbell, you can probably play just about anything. He does all the production, and Rory Fashion is also my drummer, who I had in Fiction 6 as well, which is the band that I also had that was more progressive, melodic rock kind of stuff. So,
okay, awesome, dig it. I love the name. I just it's definitely one that you're not going to forget. So do you do most of the songwriting for Kick the Wicked?
So what's really nice is, and I'm going back to another band because it kind of helped in the formula, and anybody else who's writing, especially writing in today's environment where stuff's from a distance, it's not like the old school days. We used to get down in the basement and bang it out, and everybody was there and kind of feeling it. And so now you have to find new ways to deal with that when you're at a distance, right? So my band Fiction 6, starting in 2016, 2017, was really kind of my first attempt and working with others at a distance. And over time, after 3 albums, we learned how to do that very well. And that kind of then progressed nicely into Kick the Wicked, because it's the same situation. We're not all in the same town. So we learned to write together. And so I do a lot of writing, but what's really nice is Scott Campbell has really become quite the chemistry with me now. So he'll write with me. Sometimes he writes something and it comes back to me, and then I put a vocal on it. It's kind of a back and forth thing. So I would say that we write really well together, and it's nice to have other people write, because you don't want everything to sound the same. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you are the writer. Everybody who is involved kind of becomes part of that whole thing. It wouldn't sound the same without the people in it. So
yeah, absolutely. And I tell people all the time too, I mean, your voice is present in your writing, whether you understand that or not, that, writers have a voice, and when readers read it, they can almost hear a voice in their head based on what they're reading. And so I think it's really cool that you mash up writers, and because that's, one of the toughest things as a music listener is I love, I mean, there are a lot of bands that I love them. I love everything they do. What I have a hard time with is sometimes even in a concert, when I listen to one band for an hour straight, or an hour and a half straight, or even 45 minutes straight, There's some bands now that, like, every once in a while, like, their guitar singer or their guitar player will start singing, or the drummer will take a melody, and it's just like, that's cool to me because now I get to hear just a little bit different sometimes, and, it's fun. I like that, and I dig that you're incorporating that to some degree in what you do.
Right. It's right. It's exciting, and we don't have so much of an ego that we don't also sometimes have guests come in and do cool things. You know, it gives other people an opportunity. Like when we ran in the Grammys this last year, there were a couple people and a couple of tracks that came in that were guests, and also came and worked with us to kind of do a compilation between us. And so that turned out really nice because you get a view from somewhere else, and plus it adds to what you're doing. So it's really
Well, yeah,
exciting.
and I like the fan base mix up there too. That's always fun because then, you're reaching into each other's fan bases and just, pulling more attention from everywhere, and I love that. It's a great way to do things. Not everybody is as open to, those kind of ideas, so I love that you guys are open to that stuff.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, it's a hard enough industry as it is. It's
Yeah.
a much different industry than it was in the 80s, and then even the payola days. But it's kind of like when you look at, when people are changing over a program to something else. Sometimes they change it over and say, "Oh, we're changing for the better," but they're just burying it somewhere else, and it's really the same thing. And so we're running into a lot of that. So you got to have fun with it too, while you're trying to traverse through the mess that we call the industry. Yeah, so
Absolutely, man, absolutely. That whenever you're going to try to exude fun to other people so that they can have fun, um, you gotta enjoy the ride a bit. If you
yeah,
don't, I think it gets really tough to keep pushing out fun vibes when you're hating what you're doing. So
right, absolutely. I enjoy every aspect of it. Even the name dropping stuff is fun too. I mean, sometimes you drop. What's funny is sometimes you drop a name, and it's like somebody from back in the '80s, and the youngster goes, "Who?"
oh, I know.
It's like, well, wait a minute now. He's a legend.
I know. Oh, yeah, I won't even get started on that. I actually I had one that was really frustrating because I was talking about different artists in, the genre of what I would call Motown genre, and I
Right.
was talking about all these different artists, and this person just kept going like, "Who? What? Huh?" And I go, That's Motown," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, stop. Stop. You can't tell me you don't
Yeah.
even know what Motown means. Please stop."
Yeah. The people they didn't tune.
Yeah, right. Yeah, before Auto-Tune existed and, everything was digitized and, fun stuff, yeah.
It's funny you
So
bring up Motown. I'm sorry, you funny you
No, go
bring up
ahead.
Motown. I'm friends with a guy in this area. He's and a couple of his colleagues. His name is Al Bell, and he's in the Little Rock area. But he's the guy who started Stax Records, and then
Okay.
he's the one who helped Barry Gordy sell Motown when it moved to California. So
Wow.
I'm very aware of that whole. I mean, I love all the stuff from back in that day as well. From like Otis Redding was on Stax Records.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is a story in itself right there, man, wow. That is
Exciting. It was
some
nice to meet him. Yeah.
I bet, man, that is some serious history. That's the kinda stuff that, like, if anything comes out of everything we do, I always hope that it's simply that we help somebody else along the way, and that 100 years from now, that there's some little piece of what we did that people can just look back and go like, "Oh yeah, that was kind of cool. We should try some of that." And because I look back at like stuff that people were doing, 50 to 100 years ago, and it's stuff we're not doing now. And I go, that was actually kind of smart. Like, we should reincorporate a little bit of that.
Yeah, well, that's a historical thing. Most people don't look back at history anymore. And that's what we learned from. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't learning from the history. So,
The truth.
and so I think that traverses into everything. And as technology advances, it just becomes even a harder thing to deal with.
Right.
But I agree with you 100%.
Man. So now you do covers, but you also do some originals, and we have we have one of your latest originals, Firefly.
Yeah,
I love the
exactly.
name. I'm a big fan of Serenity Firefly, so I don't know if there's any crossover there, but tell me about your Firefly.
Well, first of all, the only crossover there would be is my now I think 6, 7 month old granddaughter. Her name is Serenity, and but
Oh,
Firefly. Actually, when I write songs, they're written about experiences. They're written about things that have to do with mankind, just like you were talking about. I'm hoping somebody learns something from the narrative within the songs. Firefly is about when I was a child, and I was moving through this part of New Jersey I was living in. It was near my grandparents' house. It was pitch dark. I mean, it was so dark, it was like going on a ghost hunt, and I didn't have a night vision camera. So,
oh,
so I would go through this one section of the town through there, and I used to have really bad, wicked nightmares when I was a kid too. So when I go through this one part of there would be these fireflies all in the dark and all across the way, and I kind of equated that to my belief in God, to go to the light, to the comfort zone, lighting up the darkness, and them guiding you through that, that dark to get to your end goal, where you're going, kind of like go into the light,
yeah.
and that's what Firefly is about. It's about that whole traveling through life, helping one another, being guided by the light to get to a better place. And that's really kind of what that whole song is about.
Awesome. Well, that kind of wraps up everything that we're doing as well. So we're gonna take a listen to that song, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about that journey a little bit. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We're gonna take a listen to Firefly.
The hole that's left behind, reaching to the other side, beyond the veil that separates.
Hey everybody, back again, and that was again an amazing song with Mark Lanoue and his band Kick the Wicked called Firefly. Is that already released, or is that going to be a release, or where are you at with that song?
Well, actually, it was released. It was released actually for last year, and it did win Best Rock Song with World Songwriting Awards. It was in the Grammys for Rock Song. It did not get nominated, but there was a lot of buzz about it. A lot of people liked the song a lot, and the performance on the song.
Well, that's a
And
really hard genre to get noticed in as well. I mean, um, you've
yeah.
got to be somebody who's kind of already in there to get there. So
Well, we were up against the Rolling Stones, the Foo
exactly.
Fighters. You know, I mean, so yeah. And so anyway, we had then of course we found out that we were nominated by the World Entertainment Awards for Best Rock Song. So the song has really caught the attention of a lot of people. But with like most things in the industry, it's also about getting out there. You could have the greatest song in the world, but you really just have to get people talking about it and checking it out and listening. So we're hoping that will happen through all of this, and it'll move further from there.
Absolutely, man. And a lot of that, and I know that, like, we get stuck in just the way things sound and the way things feel. There's a lot of the industry, the stuff that people listen to, for better or for worse. Some of it is just all about the hook, the tagline, the punch, the kick, it's fun. You can dance to it. You want to rock out in your car. But there's also that message, and the message is, the part that I wanna hang on to here for a minute, because the message in that song is something that, we as Starfish, um, our organization is trying to, just that concept to be the light on the hill. And so every episode, every guest, I always throw a challenge of some sort out to them and ask them if there is something with what you already do, whether it's guitar playing, music making, singing, writing, something that is already a creative part of your life that you can help share with someone else, so that in the future, we can reach out to you and we find somebody somewhere that's a foster kid, a kid aging out of the foster care system that needs some help in telling a story. And we want to be able to connect those kind of people with you, have you step in and maybe mentor that young person through what you do so well. So there's the challenge for you. And is that something that you'd be up to?
Yeah, absolutely. I do, like I think I mentioned to you before, I actually do some mentoring with Grammy U. Whenever I can help somebody, I do. I have so even in songs I've written before, it's the same message as well, is that you're trying to help other people. You're trying to help those less fortunate. I have friends that do the same thing, like the Grammy winner from last year, Kit Wakely, is a really good friend of mine, and he has foster children. He was and his Grammy win was on a project called The Adoption Story. So because he was adopted as well, so it's kind of, when you see stuff like that, it makes you appreciate, who you have, what you have, and hopefully you can help other people do that as well. Here at the university, when I work at the University of Arkansas, I also teach younger students there, but you're getting back to the people who don't have those opportunities, and that's important to help them as well.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it is sort of self-serving, because those are the people that are going to be running the world. And I figure if we don't help them find their way, if we don't, put some fireflies in their path so that they can see where to go, um, then we're letting them just blindly lead this world into the next generation. And to me, that's a scary idea. So if there's anything we can do here on our part, with what we do, just to help them, just just usher in, hopefully a better world. I
Right.
try every day to connect with somebody that's gonna be willing to just hold out a hand to somebody at some point. So
Well, your mission aligns quite well with my philosophical statement, which is reality was once the tapestry of the dreamer. You can
ooh,
dream all day, but until you actually put the needle to the tapestry, you're not really creating anything that makes a reality for anyone that's worth even dreaming about.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's about. And in its essence, that's everything. And there's two ways to drive the world, right? You can drive it that way or you can drive it that way. And you can see
Amen.
that a lot with anything that's going on, whether it's through history or today or in societies. So, that's definitely important to make sure that there's more positivity than negativity.
Absolutely, man. Everybody could use a little bit more positivity. So I don't know anybody that would be like, no, I don't need any more of that today.
Yeah. Now turn
uh,
off the light, please.
yeah.
I'm enjoying the
Let me stumble
dark.
around in the dark for a little bit longer. Thanks. I, the cover songs. I mean, obviously, cover songs are fun. And it's always cool to like, be able to just sort of put yourself into a cover song and maybe play it a little different, give it a twist. So what a big cover song to try to tackle. So the song that we have, that we're going to be able to listen to and play for you, um, uh, I c- I don't know, man. That's a very, very challenging song. So we're gonna take a listen to that, and then I want to come back and talk about what in the world you were thinking when you decided to do that song. And yeah, we'll have some fun with that. So we'll come right back, and after we listen to White Rabbit.
This radio is powered by Streamlion, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamlion.com for more.
Hey there, changemakers. Imagine a world where every small act creates a ripple of impact. At wearestarfish.org, we're turning dreams of a better tomorrow into reality. Join our global community of starfish where every person like you is a catalyst for positive change. Whether it's empowering education, environmental stewardship, or supporting local communities, we believe in the power of every individual to make a difference. Visit wearestarfish.org today and discover how you can be a part of the wave of change. Wearestarfish.org, because each one matters.
Hey guys, what an amazing, what an amazing concept for a cover song. So Mark, why, when, how, where, like what in the world made you choose that? And yeah, talk to me, man.
Yeah, so it was somewhat of a curveball. A good friend of mine, Mark Shearer, he's actually a vocalist for Jim Petterick, who's of the Eye of the Tiger fame, the band Survivor.
Mhm.
And he contacted me and said, there's this female martial artist named Cynthia Rothrock. She was like a 5-year weapons and styles champion worldwide and was in a bunch of movies, like I think it was in the 80s and late 70s in China and all over the place. And so she said, they're doing a movie. It's going to be in Arizona. It's called Black Creek. And it's a martial art Western movie. It's going to have Don the Dragon Wilson in it. It's going to have the guy played Hercules in the series, and a number of other Kevin Sorbo, and a number of other Billy Blanks and a bunch of different actors in it. And I said they really want a version of White Rabbit, but they want it to be different than what's there. So I got off the phone and I called up my buddy Scott Campbell and I said, look, they want something that's kind of like Kill Bill meets, John Wick, kind of thing. And then he and I were talking and we said, well, let's do something that's like, Jefferson Airplane meets Alice in Chains meets, all these different kind of grungy bands and stuff, Radiohead, for example. And so Scott comes back with a framework, and then I sing this thing, and I put in all these harmonies that sound like, Alice in Chains and all this kind of stuff. And that's what you got. It's just it's totally different than any other White Rabbit version that's been made. And that's the way that we wanted it. So awesome. we went ahead and had it released on October 1st, and it's licensed to be a single. And so we'll see how it does, but it was fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, my wife is a singer, and one of the things with it, there was a band she was playing with at one point, and one of the things that was fun for them was randomly there would always be somebody in the crowd that always wanted to hear a song. I mean, I'm sure you've had that happen where people just like, oh, well, do you do? And of course, and so we actually they started to entertain that idea as kind of a fun thing, that like one night, one time throughout any night, they would take a song, but the idea was kind of a stump the band kind of idea. And so randomly people would throw out just, stuff that's kind of crazy and stuff that's kind of hard. And like, remember one time they threw out Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. And right. The band kind of all looked at each other and they're like, really? Papa's Got a Brand New Bag? I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah, don't tread lightly there or anything, throw out something, and Prana's like, yeah, let's do it. And they did. And, but they did it, their own way and their own style. And I don't know, it's cool and it's fun, to just be able to put your own little spin and twist on something like that. So it's a good time.
Yeah, it helps you connect also with your fans and with the audience. There was a band I had called Persian Risk USA in the 90s. We were actually supposed to be signed to Sony International. The singer is now in Nazareth, has been for years. But we used to go, when we were touring around, the people come and say, hey, do you know this song? And if we didn't know the song, we would say, no, but we'll know it. We'll perform it for you tomorrow. We'll know it tomorrow. And so we would go in the room, and of course we didn't have our amps or anything else. And we had no way to get into the place where we were playing during the day. So we had these little tiny things that plugged into the tape, the Walkman tape that we'd be listening to. The drummer be air drumming in the air, and I just have the guitar with no amp, and then we'd throw it together. And that night we'd go out and play it. It just didn't really matter what it was they were asking for. We would just go and learn it in the room, and then jump up on the stage, lyrics on paper. And sometimes you had to have lyrics on paper. It's like, that Candlebox. That guy had more lyrics than anybody we've ever seen in the world, man. And our singer had to have no, I have 3 pages here, and I have to have them because there's so many lyrics.
It's so funny. Yeah, and and Prana, she's exactly the opposite. She'll do a 3-hour long show, and mainly covers, because she only has about 5 or 6 originals.
Right.
So she'll do, a mainly cover show. And
Right.
and I tell the audience in the beginning of it, I tell them, just so you guys understand, there are no lyrics up here. There's no lyrics, and there's no set list. They're gonna just figure out what they're gonna do as they're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it, and she's gonna
Right.
pick up on it and sing along. And
Right.
people don't really believe me when I say it. And I've even had people come up and be like, okay, so where's this? And I'm like, no, I was being honest. There's no set list, there's no lyrics.
It's improv. It's pure improv.
Yeah. And it generally works. I think maybe
sometimes it's snafu, you just work around it.
Yeah, 1 or 2 times maybe it caught her off guard, and she was like, wait, what is that? And then, and it can be fun. Sometimes somebody in the audience will yell out, oh, that was blah, blah, and oh yeah, okay, now I'm ready. So yeah, it can be fun. So before we wrap things up, I want to make sure people know how to find you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they can go to www.kickthewicked.com, www.fiction6.com. They can go to all those places, and they can find me. They can find me technologically or musically. I'm all over. You can pretty much find us all over the internet. We're on all the digital sites, and we're especially on Spotify. Go check us out on Spotify. Come follow us. Come click like, come check out all the tunes. We have more originals than we do covers, but that's not talking about our Wicked tributes. Of course, we have about 50 tributes that are Wicked tributes by Kick the Wicked. So
awesome. All right. And if you just had one piece of little wisdom there to throw out to any of the new young up and comers that, that are stumbling around out there, what do you got for them?
Well, if you're referring to music, that would come down to write about experiences, learn about things, write about things that will tell a story, and when and really think about the music that you're writing and how it's going to impact people from the heart, and how it's going to touch their minds and maybe give them a better day or make them through a hard time. That's really important. That's a whole part of being an artist and a musician, is to connect with other souls, other hearts, other people, other minds. So that's what I would say for sure is very important.
Awesome. All right, Mark. Well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us here at Story to Screen. We do this every Tuesday, and guys, just click on the links, find him on Spotify. That's the one he's really obviously going for. So find him on Spotify, follow him, listen to his stuff. Just find this man, because I think you're going to hear a lot more from him. So we appreciate your time, Mark. All right, there we go. Hey guys, we are here today, Story to Screen. I have got my friend, and you guys can see his name, and you can see why I'm going to go straight to Solomon, because as you guys know, I have a problem with everybody's name, and Mr. Solomon here, his name is a difficult one, but I'm going to ask him to say it just so that we can all hear it at least. Can you introduce yourself, my friend?
Yeah, my name is Olasunkanmi Solomon. Yeah, I'm a drama minister. I'm a director, an actor, an author, a screenplay, and a poet, for short.
I like that. Okay. And what country are you in, Solomon?
I am in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Beautiful.
Kwara State.
So, for the people out there watching, obviously there's going to be a little delay sometimes between us. We're talking, I don't know what, 2,000 miles away. So, um, um, the the some of the films that I've been able to watch on YouTube that are yours, we're going to be playing some of that throughout the show so that people can see it. Talk to me about some of the films that you've made.
Okay. Well, basically, I am a faith-based film producer. All of my movies are faith-based, but as much as they are faith-based, they also address socio-economic issues that borders on people's lives and how to live a good life. We have in our society, some of our societies, moral corruption and bankruptcy. So I am specifically a content creator that tries to help people to understand that there are consequences for every action that you take, especially when they are negative actions. So all of my contents eventually we provide a solution. It's not all about just being entertained. Of course, we'll be entertained. Of course, we learn one or two lessons, but ultimately, I bring about solutions, practical solutions that can help individuals who would listen to it and the society at large get better when you are able to take note of some of the things that the issues that we discuss and you are able to take to corrections. That is basically what I'm doing. I keep doing it. I'm doing that for about 26 years, 27 years about
Right on. Yeah, and that's, I mean, storytelling is such a strong medium to be able to work with. Um, we can use storytelling to, yes, entertain, but also to make a point, to bring somebody up or to push somebody down. And
now.
hopefully, yeah, when I love to be able to partner with people like you that are your storytelling for a purpose, and the purpose is to bring people up, to help people, to give a hand, um, to help show people the way the world could be. Um, uh, and it's so our organization is wearestarfish.org, and at wearestarfish.org, what we do is we partner up with a lot of foster care kids aging out of the foster care system. And we've found that those kids have very difficult stories to tell. They
Mm,
have strong, powerful stories. And some of them are difficult. Some of them are stories that, maybe people don't really want to hear. But
mm,
the thing is, they need to hear them. They need to hear those stories because they are difficult, and there are people out there that can make it less difficult. So
yeah.
I feel like by sharing those stories, we have the opportunity to help people stop making things so difficult. And I think your stories do a lot of that too. From what I've seen, the films that
Yeah.
you're making and producing, your films are doing a lot of the same. You're you're trying to bring people together to hold hands and lock arms and
Yeah.
create a movement where we start to change the way people are behaving, hopefully, and
Yeah.
toward each other.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You're
Yeah.
making a lot of
Um,
that's it.
so now you're a film producer. Is there a physical part of it that you're a part of? Are you a camera person? Are you the writer? Or are you just the guy that's bringing it all together? What's your part in it?
Well, because of the economic situation in the country and the fact that a faith-based productions, you have to sort for the resources all by yourself. I have been working before. I had to stop working about more than 2 years ago. So I have to learn a lot of almost every aspect of production. So as I am now, I write my stories, I direct them, I handle camera, but not to the professional level, but at least I handle it to significant level. Then I edit in the last maybe 1 year or thereabouts. I also edit well, all of my movies now. So I only what happens is that now kinds of slows me down because if you have to do this, you have to create, allow for a time so that you'll be able to manage all of that. So virtually every aspect of production I can undo. I can do makeup. It's only that I I want to have this concept of comparative advantage where I can concentrate on the ones that I have, the better strengths. But then because of fund, most times I have to take time to do one process. The stage by stage. The scripts, for instance, I take the time to write it. We share with a few other people to make corrections here and there. We go to sets, and I'm also training my children. For instance, continuity. My daughter, my first daughter, now handles continuity. My second daughter, except for when they're in school, handles sound. She records the sound, and my wife also we co-produce together. So I direct, I do a number of things. So I just get a few people around, pay them to do other things. But almost all aspects of the production I can actually function. But of course, when it is because of the funds that are not available, I want to, if I want to concentrate, I'm going to be concentrating on three major ones. Um, Writing, I love writing. I'm a writer, I'm an author. Acting, I love acting. Then
Mm.
directing. Those would be my preferred area of specialization if I have all the resources to my, around me to get that done.
Right. I love that you bring your family into it. I think that's a really important part of what we all do is being able to teach our sons and our daughters, you know, what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because it really is for them because we're trying to change the world into a place that we want them to grow up in. And so I applaud you for bringing your family into it. It's hard, it's difficult, um, but I think it pays off in the long run.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Yeah. Um, so the stuff that you have right now, is it all streaming pretty much on YouTube, or have you gone beyond YouTube and gotten onto other platforms as well?
Okay, well, for now, maybe because of funds, like I
Yeah.
said, most, in fact, all of our productions are on YouTube for now. While I have the dream and the aspiration to produce for bigger audience like cinema, like Promax, like Netflix, but that is in my dream. But for now, what we do is we just put it on our YouTube
Okay.
and we people to just watch there.
Yeah, that's a good spot to start. The so for you for music, how do you work with music in your films currently?
Well, personally, I am a lover of music. I love music. I like to tell my stories with music. As a matter of fact, I've done about two movies that are more of music and drama together. I contract it out initially, um, 10, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I get people that I love their songs, then give them the funds to go to the studio to record based on the stories. But recently, we have someone in our ministry, or maybe one or two people in our ministry that are gifted singers who also compose and sing for each of our movies. And it is particularly interesting to me that even if I'm doing 2 minutes movie, I want to go and record for it so that each of them will be unique. I love music a lot, so that's what I do. I try to record. Then, if I'm not able to use any of the people around me, I get others outside that I believe in their vision, I believe in their music artistry, and we engage them. So,
Okay. And
sing.
that's yeah, and that's it's the problem that a lot of filmmakers do run into is that as a filmmaker you're not necessarily a musician, but you enjoy music and you understand that it's a big part of the storytelling process. So you have to connect and partner with people that can take over that side of it. So part of what we're doing here with this show is connecting you to musicians. So during when this show airs and plays, you're going to be connected to a musician that is part of this show, and then you're going to join in a database, and that database is going to be full of musicians from all of the shows that I've done and all the shows that I will do, which means at any point in time you can start to say, hey Eric, um I'm looking for something that's kind of gospely and kind of I don't know, whatever it is that you're looking for. We're going to be able to help you and push some of those musicians over to you to say, hey, my friend Solomon is making a really great film, and he's looking for a vocalist. He's looking for someone that's got a song already. And, you can even put out a notice. You can put out a notice now and say, this is what I'm looking for. Send it to us. And we'll be able to share that with all of the people that we work with. And then they'll be able to send you their music and go, hey, Solomon, here's some of my music. Would you like to use this in your film? And it's just going to be a really great way for you to be able to connect with more and more music people.
Wow, wow. I think I love it. That's a very fantastic one. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
and well, and it helps them too. And the thing is it's a win-win. For the musicians, when they get to be in your films, they get to be seen by people in different countries. They get to be their music makes it outside of their little neighborhood. It becomes part of a bigger world. And so that's, Spotify, YouTube, all of that stuff has made it where people all over the world can enjoy your stuff. But
That's
just
great.
because they can doesn't mean they're normally going to find you. They still have to find you. And so
Yeah.
you actually offer an opportunity to them as well to be found
Wow.
by somebody that probably wouldn't notice them. So it's a
Uh,
really cool win-win that, we'll be able to help you get music for what you do, and
yeah.
we'll be able to help them get their music into stuff that's going to help get them noticed.
I think that's great. I would so much like to be part of that. That's a great bounty, and I really, really love that.
Absolutely, man. And you already are. Just by being on the show, you're part of it now. And I would challenge you to create something that just says, I'm getting ready to make a film. My film is going to be based about this. I'm looking for music that is, whatever, rock, soul, gospel, country, whatever. Give people an idea of what you want, and then,
Okay.
we'll start to put that out in our network and let people know how to find you. So that's my next question is, when they want to send you their music so that you can listen to it and see if it's something that you want to put in your film, how do they
Okay.
find you?
Well, personally, I'm not this social media type. My Facebook page, and email, basically. I'm not too good at Twitter, the um, Instagram also, but basically, I think I prefer email.
Sure.
Email. I don't know how it works where you are. WhatsApp. WhatsApp is one of the major things that I use, and we can, we communicate through that. It's easier to get things done on, especially well, for if those things are heavy, for example, but for music, I don't think they should be heavy. So
Right.
email is okay, or if we can have a WhatsApp chat and all of that. I love WhatsApp so much because we are able to be personal, then we are able to send things to ourselves. So basically, WhatsApp
Yes.
or email.
Email. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll make sure we flash your email when we're airing this live. We'll make sure we flash your email on there so that people know how to get to you and get their music out to you. And then, when we put up the post to let everybody know that the show is airing, we'll also put it in the post that, this is how people can find you and connect with you. Because it's an important opportunity for young people everywhere that are trying to get their music heard. That it's important for them to be able to find people like you, reach out to filmmakers and say, hey, I'd love to have my music in a film. Here's my music, see what you can do.
That's great. It's great. Collaboration is the in thing for whatever you are going to do, because You are just a fragment of a talent. There are other talents out there that are supposed to complement you and work together as a team. And that is what should make our world beautiful and good. It doesn't matter where you are, whether in any part of the world, no matter who you are. When we work together and we share ideas, innovations together, then we make the world good to live and beautiful, because our differences and our uniqueness, when they are fused together, they bring about beauty.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more. You said it perfectly. You know, we are in our own spot, and it isn't till we reach across the aisle and we lock arms with somebody else that that the full picture, you know, gets created. Then it's what I love about what I do, and um, I just get to meet people from all over the world and lock arms and move forward, you know. And storytelling is such an important part of healing, of learning. All of that
Bonding.
comes from what we do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
agree
for
absolutely.
you, pick one of your films and tell me a little bit about the story of one of your films.
Okay, well, that will be Overwhelmed. This was produced about 3 or 4 months ago. Overwhelmed is the story of a young girl who, at a time in life, things happen that you don't have control over, things that have the ability to change your life, but you don't have control over it. So this particular girl lost her mom when she was young, maybe a teenager or something. And so the father married another woman, but the father was not resident in the same city where I mean they are. So he has to go outside of the city to work, stay, come back, come home occasionally. So the stepmother began to maltreat this girl, and she will scold her and force her and um, ensure that she doesn't tell her dad what all the maltreatment and all of that, such that the girl became so hardened that she was beginning to have bitterness and hatred, and eventually the father died. This other lady, because the man was not always around, um, she began to flirt around, and she brings men into the house. And so one of the occasions she decided to poison the father of this young girl, a teenager, and the man died. And so she took over all the property of the man, sold them, and use the money. In Nigeria and Africa generally, everybody wants to live and go for greener pasture abroad, and so she gathered all of those things before the family members could know, sold everything, and moved with the man. He eloped to another country. So this young girl was left with nothing. So one of the family members of the father decided to take her on to come and stay with her, and that one too was maltreating her just anyhow. She asked almost everything. She was abused. So eventually she became hardened and decided to leave. So she ran away one particular night and kept going, taking buses, taking bike, until she got to another city entirely that nobody knows her. And she began to struggle, and because no parent, nothing, she was a teenager. Eventually she joined a bad gang who are smoking, doing drugs, doing all manner of things, stealing. Eventually, she was arrested. She was arrested and sent to jail for many years. So it was after she got out of the jail that she got fed up of everything, and she wanted to go and commit suicide. So it was at the site of committing suicide, that a family, a particular man who is a child of God, God had been telling him to go to somewhere that he doesn't know before. Oh, sorry, the light. Can we still go on? Sorry, I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
light just went.
Yep.
So eventually, this particular man Um, the Holy Spirit told him specifically to go to a particular spot where this guy. He didn't tell him what was going to happen there, but he just kept saying, giving excuse that that he's going this way. So eventually, God led him until he was able to save that lady. In fact, she had already put the rope around her neck, but
Wow.
God used that family to save her. And so eventually the man ministered Christ to her. She gave her life to Christ. And many years down the line, she got married and she became okay. And she now started is it a ministry now or an organization just like you,
Okay.
to go to the prisons to go and share her stories of how that she had also been an inmate before, and now that she understands that there is hope in spite of whatever you have passed through in life. So she became, well, she was married to one of the leaders of the town. So she began to use her story to inspire people and to get people out of these overwhelming troubles of life. That it doesn't matter how much you have been battered by life, there's hope if you keep on. And more importantly, hope in Christ Jesus for anybody, no matter how bad the life and situation is. So that's just it.
Yeah, carry on. Carry on. Thank you. Yes, have you subscribed? Oh, yeah, subscribe right now.
That is beautiful, man. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. How long is the film?
I think it's about 1 hour, few minutes.
Okay, and how long did it take you to film it?
We filmed it for. That's another very interesting thing about the way we produce in Nigeria based on our financial limitation. Now, normally, before we should shoot that for 4 days, but I did it in 2 days. But at times we shoot from morning till night,
Wow.
12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And we use multiple cameras. I think for that one we used 2 cameras, I think. Yeah, 2 cameras so that we can do more. So we filmed it for 2 days, and then I also edited it for maybe about a week and all of that. And so
Wow.
yeah, 2 days.
Amazing. Well, I'm hoping that, yeah, like even if you can't get us the full thing that we can show, even if we can just get the trailer and show the trailer, I would love to be able to show people. Worst case scenario, we'll get them the YouTube links and let them make sure they can get on there and see what you've created. Because the story is an amazing story. You've got a great vision, and a great heart for helping, and so we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you're doing out there to just lift people up. So thank you.
Give it up, yes, I'm ready. Give it up, feel the flames. It's bound to eat you. Hand up a piece of prey. Give it up, yes, I'm ready. Give it up, feel the flames. It's bound to beat you. Beat you at your own game.
Thanks for spending some time here at Story to Screen on KPEO World Community Radio. I'm your host, Eric Krefeld, and we're rocking the film world every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can download the app or listen live, or catch the replay at wearestarfish.org, because each one matters. Catch you next week on Story to Screen. Keep supporting film and music. It's the story we tell that matters.
This radio is powered by Streamlion, the superior internet radio hosting service that provides our SOCAN license coverage. Visit streamlion.com for more.